Carving your skis is insanely good fun and it gives you a lot more control at higher speeds. But higher speeds are part of the package when it comes to carving, so it's important to know where and when it's appropriate. So if you want to know what carving is, why we do it, where and when it's appropriate, and how to do it, then this video is for you. Many skiers falsely think that they are somehow skiing less well because they're not carving, and that skidded turns simply aren't as good. The problem is that carving is a much faster way of skiing, and with higher speeds comes higher danger. Good skiers don't simply just carve everywhere, they adapt the type of turn they do to the terrain that they're on. So when and where should you carve instead of skid your skis? And what even is carving anyway? Well, a good way to understand the difference between carved and skidded turns is with a bicycle analogy. On your bike, there's two ways you might want to steer. You might want to roll relatively slowly and use the handlebars to point left and right to steer your bike. Or you might want to just keep those handlebars pointing straight ahead and gently lean the bike to bear around a bend. Now, it's kind of similar in skiing. You might want to ski relatively slowly and point your skis by twisting your legs to steer left and right. This skids the edges across the snow and creates friction to slow you down, as well as spraying snow up into the air. Alternatively, instead of pointing the skis around the corner and skidding the edges across the snow, we can aim the skis straight ahead and lean the skis onto their edges. If you press against the outer ski, then you can carve bigger, faster halve turns. Slicing your edges through the snow whilst carving your turns creates a lot less friction and you're going to go a lot faster. The beauty is that you have a much better connection with the ground and gives you more control and stability at speed. A bit like being a train attached to the tracks. You can see when other people are carving or skidding their skis by checking if snow is being sprayed up into the air or if they are slicing cleanly through the snow, leaving telltale carve tracks. So carving is just a different way of turning your skis, which makes you go a lot faster, making bigger turns. It is awesome fun and can give you more control at higher speeds. So that's the what and the why. Next up, where might you want to go carving? Now, carving down steep slopes makes you go extremely fast. And maintaining control at these high speeds can be mega difficult and is one of the most challenging tasks set to ski instructors in their exams. It's also mind-blowing what ski racers can achieve whilst carving their skis. But since this course is for lower level and intermediate skiers, you'll want to get started in carving on some of the most gentle slopes you can find. Always be aware that you are on public slopes and that you can hurt other people as well as yourselves. Start by learning how to roll your edges on gentle terrain, which is smooth and even without many bumps. You can have some awesome fun on the mellower slopes and can be a great way for better skiers to have fun spending time with friends or family who must stay on the easier slope. Now, as you progress progressively. Build your speed and confidence gradually on the green and blue runs first. Ideally, you'll want smooth snow conditions and excellent visibility, so think early mornings, freshly groomed runs and sunny weather. Carving is more difficult on icy conditions.
It's really icy! I can't grip.
So choose grippier snow as you are getting into it. Remember that carving makes for much bigger turns, so you'll need a lot of space. Completing carve turns will send you across the slopes at high speeds and other people may not see or expect you. So if you don't fancy annihilating an innocent 5-year-old, then look for quiet pistes and check up the hill before you go to see if the coast is clear. So you've got your mellow slopes, your grippy snow, your quiet pistes and your sunny weather. You understand what carving is and you know why you want to do it. Now you probably want to know, how do you do it? As always, there's no substitute to actually having a ski instructor on the snow with you, but here's a few pointers to get you going. Now, most learners struggle with patience when they're trying to make their first carved turns. They end up pointing their skis too fast around the corner and end up skidding out. To carving virgins, your first carve turns probably won't really feel much like turns at all. It'll feel a bit more like you're heading straight down the mountain and only gradually bearing left and right. Remember that carve turns are much bigger and much faster. So think about putting your skis straight down the hill, and instead of turning them to steer, you're leaning them onto their edges. Now, just as you would push off your left leg to turn to the right as you're walking or jogging, push against the outer ski when you want to turn when you're carving. And don't forget our 2 golden rules of intermediate skiing: to balance on the outer ski and to not lean back. Now, just as with parallel skiing, both skis are going to be leaning in the same direction, but your weight and pressure is going to be over the outer ski. Now, bearing that in mind, as the skis tilt over, you're going to have to separate how much your upper body is leaning over from how much the legs are leaning over. If your upper body leans with the skis, then your weight will soon fall onto the inside ski. So if we separate the upper body and the lower body, then we can tilt the skis but still remain balanced over that outer ski. But lateral separation is for another video on another day, or better yet, for an instructor to explain to you on the snow. So I hope this video has given you a nice insight into the whats, whys, whens, wheres and hows of carving your skis. One other point to make is about your equipment. Now, be aware that lighter weight, more flexible beginner skis are going to be less capable when carving. This is why many people choose a heavier ski which has more stability in firm conditions. As well as the length and the width of your skis, you'll also see that many of them are labeled with the radius. Now, ingeniously today, many skis are narrower under the foot and wider at the tips and tails. This is what we call the side cut. So when you tilt the skis on the edge, this side cut helps the skis to turn. And this is why skiing with your feet too closely clamped together when you're skiing on the piste isn't a great technique, because the tips and the tails of the skis will overlap and block each other from working correctly. So in the old days when skis were dead straight, that was quite a smart technique. But these days, clamping your feet together the radius of your ski is the radius of the turn that ski will carve. And depending on how pronounced this shape is and how long your skis are, different skis will carve different size turns. So skis with a pronounced side cut designed for turning on a piste might have a radius of around 13 meters for adults. Other skis, which are longer and straighter, like these, are around 22 meters. So check the radius of your skis and bear it in mind when you're learning to carve. Anyway, that is enough technicalities. Don't forget to have fun, take it easy and enjoy the view.